Hello, everybody. I'm Suzette Martinez-Standring, the host of It's All Right with Suzette. Welcome back to my 30-minute show about authors and their books. And I do say welcome back because I haven't done this show since 2020, but now we're roaring back. And my guest today is Donna Debs, who wrote a hilarious book of short stories that feels very Irma Bombeckian in flavor. Has your brain ever felt like a tilt-a-whirl with all kinds of deadlines, memories, and a to-do list? Well, she addresses that in a really funny and concise, bite-sized way in her new book called Wash Your Brain: Stories, Laughter, Yoga, Life. So who is Donna Debs? In 2008, determined to cleanse the chaos in her mind by laughing at it, Donna Debs began writing a slice of life humor column for half a dozen Philadelphia area newspapers. Her first story collection, Wash Your Brain, is now out and features many of the quick bite columns she wrote for over more than 15 years. Donna is also a former news reporter and editor for Philadelphia's KYW Radio. And for 25 years, she owned a writing and communications company. If you peek into her home window, and she really asks that you don't, you might find her upside down in a headstand, washing her brain that way too. She doubles as a yoga teacher with an active yoga studio. Welcome, Donna Debs.
Thank you so much, Suzette. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
I am so excited to dive into your book, Wash Your Brain. Can you tell us what your book is all about?
Yes, of course. I would love to tell you about my book. Wash Your Brain is a collection of, I like to say, grab and go, easy to grab, bite-sized stories that make you laugh, think, reflect, wonder if it may be time to do some more brainwashing of your own, meaning cleansing the chaos in your mind so you can go forward in your life with a lighter heart. The book has a number of different aspects to it: writing to get the stress out, laughing, again, to lighten the load, to laugh at yourself, to life, to learn how we are all so similar, quieting your mind through the process of yoga, since I've also been a yoga teacher for 35 years, and also connecting with each other about the foibles and frustrations of life so that we can go forward and evolve and know that we are so similar and we all have so much that we can learn from each other.
Donna, I have to tell you, I so enjoyed your book because I do believe that laughter releases endorphins, on a science level in each of us. And what I also loved was that your stories were short, but very funny. And it really gave me a brand new viewpoint into washing your brain with laughter, because the stories encompass all kinds of mishaps, misadventures, funny moments, ironic moments, and you tie it all together in such a beautiful way because all of us have this kind of busy bee buzzing around in our minds all the time. And you chose to channel all that chaos into writing and as a service for others. I feel it has been fantastic for me just to laugh along and relate so much to all those little things that go on all the time in our minds. What is it that you hope your reader will take away?
I hope that people realize that reflecting on your life and turning it into something positive is absolutely critical for continuing to go forward with a more joyful, meaningful life. Not just joyful, but more full, a more fulfilling life. Who was it that said, Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living? When you examine the events in your life and get the nut of wisdom or the nut of laughter from them, you become a deeper person and have so much more to give to yourself and to the people in your life. I want people to go forward with a lighter heart. Yeah, you just touched on something I just want to build on for a moment. The idea that our minds are always so unbelievably busy. You know, I like to say we're always thinking and analyzing and fantasizing and magnifying, and that the experts say that we have anywhere between 6,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts a day is like one thought per second. And they say that 95% of the time, the thoughts are repetitive, and that 80% of the time they're negative. That's an incredible realization. And I decided, I guess, much earlier in my life, that I wanted to see if I could turn some of that around. Learn how to get some control of my mind. Wash it.
I love it. I'm in love with the title, Wash Your Brain. It just speaks to me. We all have that kind of chaos, fear, doubts running through our minds. And one particular story that I really love from your book is, what is a complaint anyway? And I think that this really speaks to the benefit of your book, because lots of times so-called self-help books will give kind of techniques and different things and, that sort of thing. But you actually take the reader in and make them laugh. When I read this short story, What is a Complaint Anyway? You went into a deal with one of your friends that for a full week, neither one of you would complain about anything. And you talked about how difficult that was.
Right.
And I want to ask you, do you think that it turned into a habit after that, or did it make you more mindful? Because you wrote in your story that people share their gripes about 30 times a day, maybe even more for some that we know.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
are your thoughts about that, Donna?
Yeah. My thoughts are that it's a work in progress. We are all works in progress. And the theme, one of the themes in my book, is a continual processing of the events of life. And just like some days you complain and some days you don't, we're human beings. We have to give ourselves a break. So in that week with my friend, we didn't complain for a week. We had so much fun not complaining, because we would talk to each other and we would have nothing to say. And we became so aware, look how much we complain to each other. And so it taught us both that you can make a different choice in the moment. You can find ways that turn the negative thinking that I mentioned before into something that evolves you, a more positive spin on a situation. And we both got that from that week. But what I like about that story is I ended it saying, and then we complained like hell, because we need it, because what else are good friends for? So yes, we all do the best we can. And much as we can process these events in our lives out in whatever way works. Is it writing? Is it yoga? Is it painting? Is it exercising? Whatever it is, you get to a deeper truth, a deeper awareness that hopefully makes you laugh and learn, and you're able to go forward. And yeah, you still want to complain? Complain. But then know that that is not all you, that's a piece, and then you're going to go on and try not to do it as much. We're all growing.
That's wonderful, Donna.
Yeah.
I like that. And one of your other stories that I really enjoyed was it was the concept that things that you don't like in your life, like say a cyst,
Oh
you
gosh.
name them, you give them names.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about that, because I thought that was a novel concept, and I thought, oh, I have so many things I could name. So give names to and characteristics.
Yeah. It's looking, as a yogi, as a longtime yogi, I have learned to have a different perspective on things. One of the things you do as a yoga student, and 40 million people do yoga, So it's not like it's this out there thing anymore. It's such a common part of many, many people's lives, is you learn how to turn yourself into these different positions, and you gain from that a different perspective on your life. I'm always looking for a different way, or a truer way, or a funnier way to look at something, so that I evolve it into something that's more helpful to my life, and I'm hoping more helpful to the people who read my book, and more helpful going forward in learning how to continually evolve your own experiences to something more positive.
I think it's wonderful. I'm loving, I just love this conversation because it's incredibly helpful when you think about how often we are stressed out, where we feel a little bit on the helpless side. We think we're all alone. And Donna, you have incredible energy, right? You're like a squirrel on a cage. And so I kind of share that level of energy too. And I know that my brain can go crazy with all the to-dos, the deadlines, the recriminations, heavy on the insecurities. We all go through that. And somehow you've managed to dump all that and refine it into some great stories where the reader relates and feels great on almost every little aspect of life. Like another favorite of mine was A Foxy New Year, where you kind of maybe criticized yourself for not doing more or having
Right?
energy to go out. But, that is the experience of so many of us. And even though we know this, it was so comforting to read that in in print. And when I read it, I went, yeah, that's right. Early to bed, I'm okay with it. I don't care if it is New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So many people feel that way. In a moment, I'd like to get more into your writing process, and I would like to take a short break right now.
Okay.
My guest is Donna Debs, the author of Wash Your Brain, Stories, Laughter, Yoga, Life. And in a moment, I'm going to plumb the depths of her creativity and how she was able to birth this book. So stay tuned. And we're back with Donna Debs and her very entertaining, engaging book, Wash Your Brain, Stories, Laughter, Yoga, Life. And now I think that there is a great audience of people who like to write, whether they journal or whether they have a book somewhere in them to write essays. And Donna, I know you and I have shared a writing Zoom for what is it now, 2 or 3 years? And
Mhm.
it's a writing Zoom sponsored by the National Society of Newspaper Columnists. It's free. And everyone shows up. We don't workshop. We just put our heads to the stone and we work. That's it. And you have been very successful in completing your book. One of the questions that I'm really curious about, out of all the things that you could have written, and you've been a columnist for over 15 years, how did this specific concept come about?
There are a lot of humor column collections out there, and they're great. They're great. I love them myself. My bookshelf back there has got stacks of them. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to sift and sort through all of the columns that I had written and realize that they were not necessarily random events. That as I grew as a columnist, as I grew as a person, that there was an evolution to my writing. In the very beginning, my columns were often about blundering, just completely screwing up. You know, I fall and I break my ankle. My jeans fall down when I sit down in a restaurant. I can't find those shoes that fit. You know, all of these crazy things that were happening to me. And as my life went on and my writing went on, and I processed more and more, I became aware that I would write more with a kernel of wisdom tucked inside those stories. And humor and wisdom go together very much in my book. And so I became a little bit more aware of the laugh and the learn. And I hope that my book is about laughing and learning. So I created a story arc that would be one imperfect, one flawed human being's effort to stay sane through writing, through turning herself upside down in convoluted yoga poses, so that you see a person grows in the process of doing these things. So the stories are not just flat, they have an overarching sense of evolution to them. So that was my yoga web of connection, to show you that we're growing in the process and we are using all of the tools in our possible toolbox to create a more joyful, calm mind.
Well, you've done a great job with your book, and the proof is in the pudding because you are a finalist for the Foreword Indies Award. Congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. That's great.
And I well understand the challenge of not only having a concept, but following through to fruition. And for our would-be writers out there, or even seasoned writers, because we still are opening up our veins over our keyboards, what were name me two biggest challenges to completing this project?
First, I want to say that I have a little mantra. I have so many mantras. Begin, complete, release. That a book project has three aspects to it. You begin it, you complete it, the best of your ability, and then you release it into the world. And that's what gives you fulfillment. So it was important to me that I began it, that I found a way to complete it, and our writing sessions were so helpful to me in that. It helped me really to stay focused, and that I released it into the world, which is a very difficult part. But I would say my hardest part was first becoming clear about what I wanted the book to be. And I would say that idea remains with me today. And I keep saying, boy, you learned so much. The next book will be so much easier because there is so much learning. So I had a difficult time being clear about how I wanted to present the book. That took a very long time. And when I went to work with editors and designers in completing the book, the look of the book, that was a continual challenge to me. What do I want it to look like? Are they right? Am I right? Are there suggestions, ones I want to take in or not? Having a clarity. And that just means continually digging deeper and processing out the whole process to get clearer about what it is you want it to be.
That's wonderful. Now, I think nowadays, some of the biggest decisions moving forward, navigating the unknown, is how to publish. So, can you talk about the publishing method that you chose and
Yes.
how that has worked out for you?
I would say in general, there are four basic publishing methods, very quickly. Traditional, hybrid, self-publishing consulting firm, self-publishing. I chose self-publishing consulting firm. Self-publishing, we know, would be you do all of the technical stuff yourself, outside of my wheelhouse. Third, that third level hybrid, very similar to a self-publishing consulting firm who helps you with perhaps a designer, an editor, getting all of the technical stuff up online. The hybrid company takes some of your royalties, The self-publishing company does not. There are some very small differences between them. Top line, traditional publisher. I know that it is extremely difficult to get a traditional publisher, and I chose at my stage of life not to make that attempt on my first book. So I chose a company that was able to take me to the next step of finishing the project so that it had a look, it had a feel, it could get up online. They did the interior layout, the external layout, the cover layout, and helped me with all of the bells and whistles, thumbs, and little tech stuff that is not my strength.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes.
Now, before we wrap up,
Sure.
very important. How do we learn more about you and your book?
My book is available on Amazon online. It's available on Barnes & Noble online. You can also get it at your local bookseller. Just go in and ask for it. Wash Your Brain, Donna Debs. I have a website, a writing website, donnadebswriting.com. You can find a number of stories in there and more information about the book as well.
And that's Donna Debs.
Donna Debs, 1B.
1B.
1B, Donna Debs.
With the small amount of time we have left, do you have a time to read us an excerpt?
Okay, sure. This is what I'll do. I have so many. And one thing I want to make clear is my stories are very different, as you pointed out. There
Sure.
are 7 different chapters. There are 10 to 12 columns.
Well, let's do an excerpt before we run out of time, Donna.
We will. The Male Spanx Experiment. My husband is a big foil for me in my book, some of my columns. I was so surprised to see Spanx in the men's department at Nordstrom. I thought I would accidentally release the permanent suck from wearing Spanx to tidy up my own saggy middle. Is this a joke? I blurted as images of beer bellies and love handles morphed into superheroes shaped like a V. Are guys buying these? Spanx is a billion-dollar industry, a trim and tidy salesman explained. Maybe $1 billion for a woman, I thought. But for bulging gents with a Captain America fetish, a few pennies may be dribbled here or there. Real men don't give a damn. Men are wearing eyeshadow too, he whispered, trying to not embarrass me for being so out of touch. Then he finished his hard sell pitch. Not just gay men, he said, straight men. Really? With a convenient straight man at home, I decided to put this expect more from your undershirt hogwash to the test. If my straight man agreed to wear Spanx, nicknamed Manx for men, I'd march right back in there and eat my shorts, I mean my Spanx, even the super duper shapers with buttlets for added junk in the trunk.
Thank you so much, Donna.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. This was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So everybody, we're going to wrap it up and be on the lookout for her wonderful book. I found it to be so easy to read through, and I laughed the entire way. Wash Your Brain, Stories, Laughter, Yoga, Life, Donna Debs. And we'll see you next time on It's All Right with Suzette. Thanks for joining us today. You're helping all with the resurrection. Thanks for seeing me once again. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you so much, Suzette.